My name is Jacqueline, and I'm the Beneficial Electrification Manager for Actera. And today presenting, we have Lauren Weston, which is our Executive Director. And we also have Crystal, who is also, we didn't put her picture up, but
We'll fix that for next time.
Yeah, she's helping out with the chat, so she'll be answering everybody's questions and making sure things run smoothly today. And then just to give some fun facts about Actera before we get started with our presentation. We're a nonprofit based in Palo Alto, and our mission is to bring people together to create local solutions for a healthy planet. And we've been around since 1970, which is the first Earth Day. So that's an interesting fact about us. And our focus is in addressing climate change while advancing equity, and we serve the 9 counties around the San Francisco Bay Area. And our objective for tonight is to teach everybody in our community about HVAC, central heating and cooling technology that will help us save money and take care of our planet. And we're going to teach everybody on how to install them and rebates and incentives for making your home electric. And then some best practices. Remember to stay muted. Once we get to the Q&A section, you can unmute yourself to ask questions, or you can write them in the chat. And I'd like to pass it off to our presenting sponsor, Vanessa from Peninsula Clean Energy.
Great. Thank you so much. Welcome everyone for joining us. Here, my name is Vanessa Shin, and I work on the community outreach team at Peninsula Clean Energy. Thank you so much to Actera and Jackie and Lauren and Crystal for inviting us to share a little bit about the benefits and rebates that are available to our customers here in San Mateo County or the city of Los Banos. And so we're going to start off here with a quick video showing one of our customers.
La razón que lo hicimos primero era para ayudar al medio ambiente. Segundo, los reembolsos y los incentivos que existen hizo que el proyecto lo podíamos completar. Empezamos primero con el calentón aquí en la casa, era de 1962 y teníamos que cambiarlo. Aquí tenemos uno de los sistemas del mini split. Uno de los beneficios más grandes es que cada cuarto uno lo puede programar. Con el otro sistema eso no era posible porque el calentón calentaba toda la casa a la misma temperatura todo el tiempo. Antes no teníamos aire acondicionado y ahora sí lo tenemos. Y entonces en el verano vamos a poder también hacer que la casa esté más cómoda. Entonces eso obviamente es un beneficio. Este es el calentón de agua eléctrico. En este momento hay reembolsos que hizo el costo de instalar esto mucho menos que instalar un nuevo de gas. Trabajar con Peninsula Clean Energy me ayudaron en saber cómo lo podía hacer y también para que no fuera tan caro para mi familia.
Great, thank you so much. And for those who couldn't hear or had some internet issues, I will send the link to the video in the chat afterwards so you can review it again. Great. And so, yes, I hope you saw how great this customer really loved their new heating and cooling system. We see here in the Bay Area that electric appliances are all the craze right now. You could say that they're very hot. But I'm glad that you're here today so you can learn how cool these appliances can be too.
La razón que lo hicimos primero.
Okay, next slide. So I'll say a little bit about Peninsula Clean Energy. We are the community choice energy provider for San Mateo County and the city of Los Banos. What that means is that we work behind the scenes to purchase electricity from clean sources on behalf of all of our customers, which includes residents, local businesses, schools, and other organizations here in San Mateo County or the city of Los Banos. And so we're providing electricity from 100% clean sources like solar arrays, wind turbines, geothermal, hydropower. And we provide this electricity at a 5% discount compared to what you would have paid PG&E for that same service. And speaking of PG&E, they will continue to own and operate the poles and wires that deliver that electricity to you. And so that's why you also receive a bill from PG&E as a Peninsula Clean Energy customer. And as our customer, you benefit from cleaner electricity, you're helping the environment. Another cool thing is that you don't need to sign up to receive this benefit. It's an automatic plus of living in San Mateo County. And even if you don't live in our community, if you're calling in from the Bay Area or even other communities in California, you're likely being served by a similar organization. So I would encourage you, if you don't know yet, to find out who your local electricity supplier is, because they are doing good work and might have some local programs and benefits for you as well. Next slide. And speaking of that, I wanted to highlight some of the local incentive programs related to electric appliances. Since this workshop is related to heat pump space heating and cooling systems, I'd like to point out that we currently have a $2,500 rebate if you switch out a gas-powered furnace for a heat pump space heating and cooling system. So you can get some extra money from us. All of our incentives will stack with other regional incentives through programs like BayREN. There's also new statewide incentives through the Tech Clean California program that are really generous right now. And then the last thing I'd like to highlight is that we also have a 0% loan program in which that you can receive a 0% interest loan up to $10,000 to finance the cost of an upgrade to a heat pump water heater or a heat pump HVAC system. And what you would do is you would finance that through us, get a 0% loan, and then pay back the cost of those upgrades on your PG&E bill for a period of up to 5 years. And then that is my last slide. Thank you again so much for being here and for Actera for inviting us. And I'm happy to answer any questions about our programs in the chat.
Thank you for coming and presenting, Vanessa. And just a reminder, we'll be sending out the slides and a recording of our workshop tonight once we've edited the video. And I'd like to pass it off to Elena from BayREN. Thank you for coming today. You're still
muted.
mute.
There you go. Thank you very much for having me. I am Elena. I'm an energy advisor with BayREN, and I'm going to talk a little bit about our incentives as well. Next slide, please. Yeah, and we are the Bay Area Regional Energy Network, and we also work on the 9 counties in the Bay Area, San Mateo being one of those counties. And I'm going to talk a little bit about our rebate incentives that we have. And next slide, please. And this is how the program works. You can go to bayren.org and online home, and you can do online home evaluation, and we will send you a free energy efficiency kit. And we also do free energy advising. At the end of the presentation is going to have our number and our website and our email, so you can send us or call us if you have any questions. To be eligible for our rebates, you must work with participating contractors. What I like about the program, about the participating contractors, is that once the project is completed, the contractor is the one who's going to apply for those rebates on your behalf. So you don't have to do all the paperwork, and they will do it. It will send you a check. It may take 4 to 6 weeks for you to get a check in the mail. Next slide. And again, once you go to bayren.org, you can do your own online evaluation, and it just depends on how you answer those questions. We will send you a kit on the mail, and it can have LEDs, smart strips, shower heads, and different things. Just depends on your answers to the questions. Next. And as I mentioned before, we are here Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. So you can call us anytime and we can advise you. You have any specific questions about the heat pump HVAC system, a heat pump water heater. We also have so many rebates, like attic insulation, different rebates. So we will be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. We can also help you to find a participating contractor. Some customers, our list is, I mean, we have so many, some customers just like, can you please send me like 2, 3 or 4 different ones so they don't have to go through the whole list. So we'll be more than happy to do that. And also we can talk about other incentives, other programs like the Peninsula Clean Energy, California Tech, IRA, different programs that may be going on in your county, in your area. Next. And again, that's the participating contractors. You can find a list in our website, and if you click on it, you can see all the things that they do, and also you can, if you want to see if they have good references, you can see that also. So it is on our website. Very easy and friendly website that you should be able to manage. Next. Okay, and I already talked about this, about the energy efficiency kit that you can get, and also on our website is the measures, like for an example, for attic insulation, it has to be R44, or for the HVAC system, different measures. So you can find that also on our website, and we can help you answer those questions if you have specific questions about that. Next. And this is just an example about the incentives, the rebates that you can have if you combine, like the attic insulation is up to $1,000. That replacement, we have $500. High efficiency heat pump HVAC system is $400, and $250 if it's not fuel sub. And we have $100 on the testing. And what I like about our program is that Peninsula Clean Energy also have their own incentives, and they can be stackable. So it's not like you have to have one, either or. They can be stackable. Next. And we also have a rebate on an induction range and also on a heat pump dryer. It's at $250. You don't have to work with participating contractor and those two measures. If you have a handyman who knows how to do it, that's fine. And you will have to apply for your own rebate. Very easy process. You just need to provide before and after pictures, a few things. And like I said, you will get a check in the mail for the 6 weeks. And I already talked about this, the different complementary programs like the Peninsula Clean Energy, the TIC program, and the federal tax credit. So we can help you answer all those questions. So feel free to give us a call, email us, and we'll be more than happy to help you answer any questions. Thank you. And that is our contact number right there. And if you already know how the program works, you don't even have to contact us. You can just go directly and find a contractor, start your project, and the contractor will apply for that rebate, and you'll get a check in the mail. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. And
Thank you.
and just a reminder, we're going to be sending out the slides at the end and a recording.
Perfect.
And Elena will be answering all our questions at the end during Q&A. So I want to pass it off to our director, Lauren Weston. She has been on an electrification journey for the last few years and will be sharing her insights on heat pumps, and as well as her own experience.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Hi, everybody. My name is Lauren Weston. I'm the Executive Director of Actera, Action for a Healthy Planet. And I'm super nervous because I have not talked about my electrification journey yet. So I'm going to be sharing kind of the thought process between what I did and did not do, as well as trying to share information about heat pumps more generally. A huge thanks to Vanessa and Elena for coming and sharing the rebates, because I think that's one of the most important things for folks that are coming, is how to make this change affordable, because it can seem really out of reach for a lot of folks. And I want you to know that it's not scary. It's totally doable. There are resources in our communities available to you to make this happen. What we're going to cover tonight is what is an HVAC, space heating and cooling system. I'm going to share a little bit about why I chose to do a heat pump. We're going to revisit the costs and incentives, and then at the end, we'll share resources before opening it up for Q&A. Thanks, Jackie. Just really quickly about the details behind HVAC, space heating and cooling. If you are new to this, heat pumps are a machine that gathers heat at a low temperature, raises it to the temperature of your desirable comfort level, and then redistributes that heat. An example, your freezer does this, gathering heat at 2 degrees Fahrenheit and then rejecting it to the kitchen at 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Example 2 is your AC. It gathers heat at 80 degrees and then rejects it back outdoors at 100 degrees. It uses 1 unit of electric energy to gather 3 units of thermal energy and delivers all 4 of those units of energy into your desired space. This is one of the most amazing things about this technology, is that it's so incredibly efficient. It uses a little bit to create a lot, and its whole focus is your comfort for your family and the space that you're heating. The space heating heat pumps are, in essence, 2-way air conditioners. That's how the technology works. Next slide. I wanted to go a little bit over the vocabulary. We're going to talk about some of this more than others, but it's good for you to know as you're doing your own research for what sort of system will work best for your household. We have unitary or package systems that have all the components in one box. We have split systems, both for indoor and outdoor units that help you exchange heat. Those include a distribution fan and heat coils. You also have a mini split system, which is a thinner profile. I don't have any photos attached of a mini split for this presentation because I have a single system that you'll see here shortly. But the mini split system is very streamlined, and it is an outdoor unit or a yard cube, and it's part of a dual system, the mini split system. So it comes with multiple pieces. And then you have the inverter driven system, which uses computer control to produce the variable speed and variable power to operate that matches the changing needs of your home across the day. Our energy uses change. We want it warmer or cooler at night, for example. Next slide. Thank you. I have a central system, which again, I'll talk more about later. This replaces the furnace with an air handler that has a fan that distributes heat through the ducts in my home. The central system replaces the furnace with this air handler box, and it uses the existing ducts in the house with an integrated filter. Ductless systems do exist. This is not what I have, so I won't be exploring this too much this evening, but it does not rely on a duct system. They have head units in each room that get refrigerant via the refrigerant tubes in the unit. These ductless systems have these individual units to skip the ducts and duct losses, and they give controls based on each individual room. Mini duct systems are kind of this in between of those 2 units. They have a head unit that usually is out of sight somewhere, not necessarily in the room you're serving, and they're skipping the old ducts and installing several short new ducts to reach nearby rooms. So that's kind of an in-between system depending on the size of your house, the square footage that you're dealing with. Next slide. So why did I choose a heat pump? I chose a heat pump because I had a central system that I was replacing. These are actual photos of my system. I have a Lennox system, which I'll talk about in a second. The reason I focused on this heat pump in particular was multiple facets of efficiency. One was noise. I am incredibly light sleeper and I hear everything at all times. It's probably me being a new mom where that is hypersensitive right now, but I hear everything. So the sound of the heat pump for me was a big, big win. This is a 65 decibel sound system versus something like 78, which is your normal vacuum. This was a really big factor for me in making my decision. I also really needed it to work in cold and hot weather. I, of course, have extremes as climate change is occurring in our communities. We're facing extreme weather more and more often, and I wanted a system that would create comfort in both settings. I also was really interested in the variable capacity because it adjusts to the cooling, it balances our energy usage throughout the house, and it creates comfort for all of the members of my family. I have 2 thermostats. The one you see in this picture is the downstairs unit. I have an upstairs unit, and I tried to take the photo to show you the downstairs thermostat version and the upstairs, but I only got one photo in the slide. So if you're interested in the upstairs unit, I can show that to you via email or later in some other HVAC, because we'll be doing more of these in the future. And the other is humidity control. I am really interested in keeping my house under humidity control because I have little ones and they come home with colds all the time. And for me, this was a big deal. It was a health issue for my littles that I did some research on, and that humidity control was important for me. The other aspect that I really was interested in was the reliability. I did a ton of research on what units would work best for my home. I chose a Lennox 4-ton split heat pump with the iComfort thermostat, which you see in the photo. And I did this because our home is 2,600 square feet. It's 2 stories. It's fairly large. I needed a manageable system that could function both in extreme cold and extreme heat, as well as keep the house comfortable. So I went a little bit on the high end for the tonnage. I know that, but I also had a 200 amp panel system on the house. And so I knew that I could manage that large of a heat pump. And for us, it's been perfect. There are ways to size appropriately for your own square footage. So I would recommend that you check with one of the advisors we mentioned earlier, or some of the resources we'll look at later in the evening on further slides, to figure out exactly the size that you'll need for your house and the setup that you're looking for. The other thing I want to touch on very briefly is that I put in heat strips. I did this intentionally because I wanted to make sure that the house would function in extreme cold weather, and extreme for me is probably different than extreme for you. I'm really cold sensitive. So I wanted to make sure that in emergency situations, we would be able to heat the home. I have 2 littles at home, and it was important for me to be able to keep them comfortable. So I did the heat strips component too. And then for me, the cherry on top of all of this, not to mention the system being just awesome in and of itself, I added a full house HEPA filtration system at the same time I did my heat pump retrofit. And that was a huge incentive for me to do this in the first place and do it all at once, because we've had such high pollution days. The fire season is so severe recently. I wanted to make sure that my home was as healthy as possible for my girls. And this HEPA filter system was a really big deal for me. So I did all of that at the same time. Next slide. Thank you. I want to touch a little bit on the costs and incentives for HVAC. So there's a lot of things that go into making this decision, and Bayren already added some of their rebates in here, and PCE talked about their rebates. So we've got a slide again for PCE in a couple of slides. So I'm just putting Bayren's back up on here because it's so important to know that you have help in getting these devices into your homes. The cost by device varies dramatically. I chose a Lennox system, which comes at a certain price and a certain reliability. There are other systems that could work perfectly well for you and your household. So I suggest getting that advisor conversation. I suggest doing some research and figuring out exactly what's going to work best for your home. There is a wide range of pricing, and there is something that could fit every budget with these rebates to help. So please do research, find what works for you and your household. And I promise you that you'll find a system that can function the way that you want it to. One thing that Vanessa mentioned earlier was financing. PCE, if you're in San Mateo County or Los Banos, has a financing option, which is a really good option if you're looking at financing versus paying, outright in cash. And then stacked with all of these rebates between BayREN and PCE are some other things that we've got going on in the chat. Tech California, just tons of options available right now because of the IRA. We're looking at a lot of incentive. And what's interesting is that I did my heat pump install the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, before any heat pump rebates were really available for me. So I had the full expense. But at the time, one, I work for an environmental nonprofit. And I was like, this is really what I should be doing. I should be, walking the talk and putting the investment in and learning how these systems work. And two, I knew the benefits for my family were there. So the financial investment was big for us, but it was something that we debated and decided to jump in head first. Now, if I was doing it, I would have paid a lot less because there's tons more available rebates. I'm kind of wishing I had waited 2 years, but I have had the benefits the last 2 years, so it's not that big of a trade-off. Next slide. Just again, showing you the rebates from PCE. Their heat pump space heating and cooling is $2,500. You can see to the right, the 0% loan at $10,000. And then they have additional tack-ons for Care Farah. If you have medical reasons for needing to make these upgrades, you're able to stack that additional rebate. And then there's another rebate for an electrical panel upgrade. If you happen to need to upgrade your panel to make these additions to your home or these retrofits to your home, they're offering an extra incentive for that as well. Next slide. Available resources. We have so many more resources now than we did when I was starting my process. Some of the links that you'll see in the chat include Switches On. We have the Tech Clean California. There's now available retrofit guides for homes that some of our local experts have done, like Tom Cabot. PCE has their electrification guide. We have other local experts like Sean Armstrong, who has the Ask Sean show. And then there's concierge services like Emerald Echo and Quick Carbon, who happens to be in the chat tonight. We are not affiliated with any of the concierge services, but we want you to know what's available if you need a little bit of extra hand-holding and care as you're going through your process. And as Elena spoke to earlier, she also has those advisory services. So please take advantage of these services. They are here to help you make these changes in your households. Next slide. Okay, we are going to turn it over for questions. We have a lot of questions in the chat, which is fantastic. I'm going to turn it back over to Jackie and Crystal to help facilitate. I'm here to answer questions. Elena's here to answer questions. Please take it away.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through the chat. So first question is from Robert. Is it economical to change my new AC and gas furnace I installed 2 years ago to a heat pump HVAC system? Estimated cost to change, ? Planning to eventually have solar installed.
Elena, do you want to take that one, or do you want me to?
I can get it. Yeah. BayREN, when your system is that new, like you say, 2 years, that you install it, we don't recommend it to change it yet, because even to recycle that is gonna damage, it's damage to the environment. So I will wait a little bit longer, unless when I talk to customers, I say, unless you desperate to get rid of gas, and if maybe you can donate what you have right now, that will make sense. Other than that, if you're gonna add solar and the next year, 2 years, I mean, I will advise you to wait a little bit longer. But like I say, if you just want to get rid of gas now, that is something that you can do. Just donate what you have. The cost, I cannot give you prices, because that's not something that we do. You will need to get a contractor, and contractors will come over, and we always recommend try to get 2 to 3 different estimates from contractors, so you can compare prices minus all the rebates and everything that's going on, so you can decide if that makes sense for you or not. And our email is there. If you want to, we can continue chatting some other time about it.
Thanks, Elena. And I'll add to that too. We had multiple quotes. We ended up going with the servicer that did our solar. I saw one of the questions in the chat was about solar. I do have full solar. So I'm all electric. That's the full journey picture that's not going to come out tonight, but I have solar panels and I use solar energy and clean renewable energy for my EV charger, my heat pump water heater, my induction cooktop. So yes, I am on solar, and I did the solar before I did the heat pump.
And the next question is, does Bayren cover Palo Alto?
No, Palo Alto is not part of Bayren because for Bayren you need to be a PG&E customer. However, there is a program for Palo Alto as well for a heat pump water heaters only at the moment, and they're going to include more rebates next year. So you can contact me if you have specific questions because I also help with Palo Alto.
And then the next question was answered in the chat by Vanessa. So Frank had a question if Silicon Valley Clean and Peninsula Clean Energy had the same parent org. And Vanessa answered that Silicon Valley Clean Energy and Peninsula Clean Energy are separate orgs, but they're both public agencies. So, and then the next question is for Lauren. Did you already have roof solar? Oh, you just answered that.
I just answered, but I can explore that a little bit more. And thanks for the question. So I did have solar, and I just added the comment about the heat strips. So heat pumps do come with heat strips. I had to have, based on where my old furnace was, an extension of the heat strips, and an electrician had to come in and do the install of a 240 volts to make the whole system work. So it was a retrofit in the sense that they had to like open the wall up and move the coils through my house. So it was a big addition, but they generally do come with heat pump systems. I just had to do a little bit more for mine to make it work with the system and the way my house is built.
And the next question is from Dale. It seems that most HVAC contractors are skilled at retrofitting heat pump systems into existing houses to replace traditional gas furnaces or AC units, but for a new build, we are having issues finding someone good at a brand new ground up setup. We are getting bids / quotes for cassettes units or wall mount units, all of which are fine for a retrofit, but in my mind do not belong in a new build. Do you have any contractors you recommend for someone that has expertise in heat pumps for a brand new ground up build?
Elena would recommend probably talking to her advisor because if your system is so specific, it's really good to get that one-on-one help. And there are contractors that know how to do from the ground builds. So I would connect with one of the experts that we've provided tonight for you to get that one-on-one expertise and guidance. It definitely helps to have someone in your corner that knows how to do the build the way that you want it to be done.
Correct, and there is a few contractors that we can send the reference, and I will get your information, and I will email you a few names of the contractors that we work very close to, and that they should be able to help you with that.
The next question is from Doug asking about the follow-up email. We can save the chat and share it as well, but we'll also be sharing every link that we shared in the chat, as well as the presentation slides and a recording of the workshop. And Frank asked, can the outside heat pump service both the hot water heater and the HVAC?
Mine do not. I have two systems. I have a heat pump water heater in my garage, and then I have a heat pump outside with the internal unit that replaced the furnace in the attic. Elena, I
Correct.
saw
That
you.
is yeah, that is two different systems. Like right now, you may have your furnace and your AC, and then you have heat your water heater. So it's similar. It's just heat pumps. And you have your heat pump water heater, and then your heat pump HVAC system is totally different units.
And David and Cooper both in the chat are adding information about those systems existing. So it looks like Harvest Thermal is an option if someone's looking for a single use unit. But you'd have to add AC, it looks like.
The next question is from Anne. Lauren, may we know the actual cost of your project? We know that rebates are now available, but base cost before those would be helpful to know.
Sure, and thanks again for the question. My whole unit with the filtration system cost $16,000. And that was pre-rebates, of course. The Lennox unit that you saw there was 9 of that. So the unit itself was the most expensive part, and then permits were included in that. I did have the electrician come, like I said, for the 240 volts. So that was an added cost, but that was the bulk pricing.
And the next question is from Jaden. If organizations such as Bayren and PCE and other organizations cover the same jurisdictions, are there overlaps in service? If so, can clients take advantage of multiple rebates and benefits from different organizations at the same time?
Not all are stackable, but definitely stack the ones you can. Elena mentioned this earlier. Go ahead, Elena.
Correct. Yes. For us, PCNE, Bayren, IRA, all they can be stackable. Well, IRA is the tax credit you get, but also the California Tech program. And I really want to let you guys know that the California Tech program is getting those incentives, and we don't know how long the program is going to be available. Maybe 3, 4, 5 more months. We don't know. I know Bayren, we will continue having the same rebates for next year. PCNE, I'm not sure. But that would be a great idea if you can start getting at least estimates so you can have an idea of prices and all the stackable rebates and incentives that we have. But they're stackable.
Also, we have a post workshop survey. If everybody can fill it out, Crystal is putting it in the chat. And for the next question, it's for Lauren. So do you have energy storage in your system as well?
That's a great question. It's actually the final thing that I'm hoping to do at some point. I do not currently have battery storage. I have Enphase solar. So I'm looking at Enphase batteries. The biggest thing for me is I live in an HOA. So I have to follow the HOA regulations and get approval for anything on the exterior of my home. And that's been the biggest barrier for me getting batteries, is finding the right location with or without HOA approval. So that's what I'm currently researching right now. And it's like a dream to have some battery storage.
And the next question is from Mark, that they say, I got some form of rebate when I put in some solar, but I would need another few circuits for HVAC or induction cooktop. Is a rebate available? Question mark. And we're going to have an induction cooktop Green at Home workshop on December 14th.
Good plug, Jackie. Yes. So PCE said in one of their slides, and we can go back and revisit that if it's helpful, that they do $1,000 towards a panel upgrade. So if you're finding you need more breaker capacity or more amperage capacity, they do offer incentives to help you do that if you're in PCE territory.
So they have $250 for rebates for induction cooktops.
And then right at the bottom, it says $1,000 for the electrical panel upgrade. So you've got a little bit of coverage there.
And then also a reminder, we do have an induction cooking workshop on the 14th of December. So the next question is from Anne. And are these rebates for rooftop solar plus are there currently rebates for rooftop solar plus battery systems? We did have a solar rooftop green at home workshop on October 10th, and you can find the recording on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, I don't know what those rebates are off the top of my head, but maybe Elena knows some from Bayren, but we do have some attached to that recording that Jackie just mentioned.
Yeah, we don't have any rebates, or we don't work with solar, so I don't have any information on it.
Okay, thanks.
And our presenter for that solar workshop was SunShares, and you can go onto their website to learn more about their program and available rebates. And the next question is there a calculator to help us understand if switching to heat pumps would be good for the environment? Our house is 7 years old.
That's a good question. So there are organizations like we've already attached here, Clean Tech and Switches On, that can help on the implementation side. There are other services like Yellowton and Bright Action where you can go in and add in your PG&E information, and they'll do kind of a map for you of potential environmental friendly changes. So there are potential resources for you there as well. Yes. We don't have any included in tonight's presentation.
The next question is there any secondary market to sell not super old systems, high efficiency gas furnace, high efficiency gas furnace, heaters, single stage AC? Our systems are 7 years old and it seems wasteful to destroy / recycle them.
If you should be able to see on your either water heater or your furnace, it's like they will have like a yellow sticker, and it should let you know how efficiency it is. Because I know at Bayron, we offer I want to say $300 rebate on a high efficiency gas furnace or high efficiency gas water heater, because a lot of people, not everybody can afford the heat pumps. So you should be able, or by the model number, you should be able to do some research and find out how efficiency it is. But if it's 7 years old, I assume it's efficient, and I can help you with that information. I mean, you can always send me the model number, and I can find that information for you.
And the next question is for Lauren. Did you already have roof solar? And please tell us more about what heat strips are.
Sure. I added a little bit of a descriptor of heat strips above in the chat. So if you can scroll up, you'll see more about heat coils. And then Cooper added a little bit more too. He equated it to a toaster, which is very true. And I lost track in the chat, so I'm trying to find the actual question so that I can read it.
Did you already have roof solar?
Oh, thanks. So when I moved into the house, we had 14 panels, and I knew that wasn't going to be enough. We have an eastern western facing home, so I added 14 more panels to the eastern facing side of my house. I knew I was going to need to be able to produce more electricity all day instead of, in essence, half day. So we added the solar as one of the first projects, and then added the heat pump.
And then we already answered what heat strips are. The next question is from Harold. Lauren, what happened to your gas line? Is the gas line to the house just capped at the house or the street? Gas meter removed too?
I have been waiting for 1.5 years to have that dealt with. This is one of the most frustrating parts of my journey. I do not have it capped. It's the last thing that I need to do. This has been a very frustrating experience for me, for my experience. I know it's not been that way for everybody, but I do not have it capped yet. I'm still in a queue. But eventually it will be. And I can update you all on the next hopefully the next HVAC presentation. I can tell you it's been capped.
The next question is from Benson. Will Bayren contractors work with Peninsula Clean Energy to maximize the rebates? What would be the best way to get started? Contacting a Bayren contractor or referral system service?
Yeah, you can just contact the Bayern contractor, and most of the contractors, they're very familiar with our program with Peninsula Clean Energy. They're very familiar with all the programs that are going on the area, and you can always send us an email. Also, in our website, when you go and find a contractor, make sure it's going to give you an option. And you make sure that you put Bayern and do you put like a tech program. So it's going to give you a list of the contractors who are part of all those different programs. Most of the other contractors are, but we can always help you and send you referrals.
The next question is from Maria. Do you always need the heat strips with the heat pump?
I'm sorry, I got distracted because I'm answering private messages. So I'm answering Rich in the chat in a private message. Can you ask me that again, Jackie? I'm sorry.
So the question is from Maria. Do you always need the heat strips with the heat pump?
I thought the answer to that was yes. Cooper says in one of his responses that that is not necessary for all units. I think because of the size of my unit and because of what my family's needs are, it was necessary for us, but it looks like the answer to that is no. If someone wants to correct me in the chat, feel free.
And the next question is from Jane. Do you find that contractors inflate their prices and so negate the rebates? When we researched earthquake retrofitting, this was definitely the case.
I'm sorry that was your experience. Go ahead, Elena.
I'm sorry. We heard that sometimes too. And that's why I always advise homeowners, get a different estimates from participating contractors, non-participating contractors, just to compare prices. And also, you can always send out those estimates and we can review those for you, because it might be the price is different, but when we go through the estimates, we know why. So just if you have that problem, just like I said, you can always send us those and we will be more than happy to review the different estimates, and just to make sure they're doing the same unit, the same brand, and just different little details that come up with that, and we can help you with that.
And the next question is, can you claim a rebate if the work was done 2 years ago?
No, unfortunately, no, you cannot.
And then you already answered the cost of your system was 16,000. So Michael asked, so do you have, oh wait, I think I accidentally went back up.
I know there's so many questions. It's awesome, but it's also hard to track.
I apologize for that.
I also just want to acknowledge the question from David. Hi, David. It's good to have you here. I am still paying the gas connect fee, and I love Abe's response in that the utility is stealing from me, because I feel the exact same way, and I'm really working hard to change that. So I appreciate you guys sharing support.
So the question above David is from Dell. I have a small 36-inch tall 50-gallon resistive hot water heater that I wanted to replace with a heat pump hot water system. But according to all the contractors I have talked to, with only a 4-foot tall space to install something, I think I need to replace the resistive unit with resistive.
So Dale, we can get you the link to our heat pump water heater recording. I think that would be really helpful for you. So let's make sure that we get Dale that recording, because that might answer his question.
Okay.
For heat pump water heaters. That was the one that we held last month, Dale.
And then Dell also asked another question regarding heat strips. More modern heat pumps operate better at low temperatures. Oh, so they're answering a question about heat strips. So heat strips are not really needed anymore unless you want to be really, really safe. My guess is they would rarely, if ever, fire on.
Yeah, I'll address this. The really, really safe thing is very true. I am a very risk averse person. So I wanted to make sure that in an adverse situation, we would have heat. I totally agree with this statement, and I probably am more risk averse than most. So yes, and that is the hope, that they don't need to be used, but they are there if I need them.
And the next question is from Rich. Oops, it went up. Did you need to upgrade / upsize your central HVAC ductworks to meet the needs of your heat pump system?
I did not. And that, I'm sorry, that was the question I was replying in private chat to. So Rich, you'll see my response in your direct messages.
And the next question is from Harold. How much time did it take to do all of these changes on your house? Two days, like on HGTV TV shows?
No, I've lived in my house. March will be 3 years. So it's taken up until now to get all of the changes. And like I said, it's fully electric. So it was the car charger, the induction cooktop, the heat pump water heater, the heat pump. And it took probably longer than anyone would like to make all of those changes, but based on, financial planning, what we had capacity for, it was a tempo that worked for our family. And I know sometimes it takes longer too. So I feel really fortunate that we've been able to do it in this time frame.
The next question is from Dale. Would anyone recommend a VRF HVAC unit for a 5,000 square foot residential new build? I have not met anyone that has ever installed one in residential.
I do not even know what that is. Elena, do you know what VRF HVAC is?
I don't. So that would be a good question for a contractor or one of our supervisors in our team. And if I can have his email and then I can forward that to my supervisor so he can answer that question.
And then sorry, there's just so many questions that the chat is moving.
It's a good problem to have. Thanks, everybody. The next one I see is from Ben Stein, but that's not a question. Hold on. Oh, someone answered what VRF stands for. It's variable refrigerant flow. Thank you, Dale.
Oh.
Look, I'm even learning something. This is the beauty of group sourcing answers.
I think we're all caught up with oh wait, we just got a new question. So Maria asks, are ducted systems more efficient than split heat pumps?
I think that fully depends on the makeup of your house and what you're looking for. And Elena, I'll turn this over to you to answer to. Maybe your advisors will have better feedback, but I think the answer is really case by case in my experience.
That is correct. Yes. And for an example, San Francisco, the ductless system is very popular because they don't have the capacity or the room for the unit to be outside, or it can be too loud, it can bother the neighbor. And the ductless system is very efficient. It also depends on the size of the house that we either recommend ductless, it just depends on the situation. So yeah, that would be depends on the settings of your home too. But I mean, honestly, I really like the mini splits because you can control, especially now a lot of people working from home. You don't have to heat the whole house. You don't have to warm the whole house. You can just do it room by room, and it's very efficient.
Thanks, Elena.
And the next question is from Rich. We have 100 amped main service. We're told PG&E can't promise timing on adding capacity to our line. We're maxed out now without adding new electrical loads. What do we do?
It's really a complicated question, Rich. So one of our advisors at Actera has been trying to solve this problem specifically for 100 amp panels. His name's Tom Cabot, and he's created a kind of play-by-play for how you can electrify on a 100 amp panel. We can get you his information. He's got a guide to how to do that. Oh, thank you, Daniel. Yes, so fantastic. He's putting that in the chat right now through Redwood Energy. Hugely helpful, and I hope that you can find a solution, because we know those solutions exist, but I know how frustrating that can be.
And Daniel asked a question, did you add an ERV/HRV at the same time? And if so, did you have it integrated or separate?
Again, another acronym I don't know. So I don't know how to answer that question, because those are not acronyms that I am aware of. Elena, do you know?
No, sorry.
If there's an open source response that knows the answer to that, please feel free to put it in the chat.
Oh,
Thanks, Daniel. Energy recovery ventilator, heat recovery ventilator. My system was all complete. So the price that I paid was for them to do a complete install. So if it included those components, I do not know. It very well could have come in the install without me knowing that there was separate pieces.
and I believe we're all caught up in our questions. Does anybody else have any questions? And just a reminder, we'll be having our last Screen at Home workshop this upcoming December on the 14th, same time, 6 p.m. via Zoom. You can scan the QR code to sign up for the event, or you can go on our website, and Crystal has been dropping the link in the chat as well, and we'll be emailing all the links.
I also want to wish everyone a very, very happy Thanksgiving holiday. I hope you guys find rest and peace with your loved ones, and we will see you next month.